Welcome back, everybody. This video, I'm going to show a hot stapler. I got this off of Amazon. I think I paid $35 or $36 for this thing. And these things are handy. Even if you're not doing body work, these are good just to have around the house because, you know, everything you buy now is made out of plastic. You can fix quite a few things with these. So let me show you what comes with this kit. The main part of this kit is the hot stapler itself. And these things really don't even have a name on it. It just says plastic welding gun. It's got CE down here, model H150. Let's take a look at everything this thing is capable of. Stable performance, strong current, firmness, good welding. Okay, it's got to be good. And all these are, it kind of works like a soldering gun. All they do is just generate heat, basically a dead short, and it heats up. You know, you should never have any problems with these things. They should last for years. And let's see what else is in the kit. Come with a pair of side cutters for cutting the staples. It comes with an assortment of some welding rods, and it doesn't say what these are for. And I'm going to explain the difference between thermoset and thermoplastic, and I believe these are just going to be used for thermoplastic. Two different colors. There's a clear and a black. Come with this razor knife here. Come with a nice case. It's got some instructions. Even the instructions don't really have a brand name on here. Now, I assume this thing is made in China, and usually stuff doesn't translate real well to English. They tell you how to take care of your machine. When using hot welding nails for repair, you can use them at will. Okay, whatever. When using the hot smoothing head and welding rod, please do not use the machine. Explain. The machine is always in working condition for more than 15 minutes continuously. Okay, what that means is it's got these smoothing heads for smoothing out plastic, either going over a repair or a crack. And you shouldn't run this for probably more than 10 minutes continuous. If you do, you should let it sit and cool for a couple minutes before you start up again. If you continue to use it for 10 minutes continuously, please let the machine rest for 30 seconds to 1 minute. You can continue to use the machine again. Do it in this way. It is beneficial to prolong the service life of the machine. They give you some basic instructions on which staples to use, where they'll work, and it does come with quite a few staples, so let's take a look at those. All right, it comes with 5 different kinds of staples, and this is probably going to be the most common one. This will get more use than anything else. This is a little zigzag pattern here. That one there probably won't get a whole lot of use. That's for doing inside corners, and I've never used any of these, so I'm going to try that today. Here's another one that's real similar in shape, although this is a little bit heavier, thicker diameter. And this here says it's for an outside corner, and I've never used one of these before, so I'm going to see if I can find something that'll fit into. It comes with these 2 smoothing tips. These are used for when you're smoothing out your plastic repair area. So I'll use those 2, see how they do. I used this one already on something. And all these are made out of stainless steel, so they're not going to rust or corrode. All right, so there's 2 types of plastic. There's thermoplastic and thermoset plastic. Here's a couple examples of thermoplastic. You got a fan shroud here, piece of a fender liner off of something. And this is just a real soft, cheap plastic. Thermoplastic, you can basically just take and cut a sliver off of this and use this for your welding rod. It'll melt together just fine. Same with this fan shroud. We got a couple cracks right here, some broken areas. You could take a scrap piece of this plastic and you could weld this back together. And those welding rods that come in that stapler kit, that's what they're for. There's black and there's a whitish clear. And the black you'd use on something like this, a fan shroud, a wheel liner. The clear would be for like a coolant overflow bottle or a windshield washer jug. So any type of plastic like that, you can basically just use the same piece of material and weld it in, it'll work. Now when you get to a bumper cover, that type of repair won't work because this is thermoset plastic. If you took a scrap piece of this and tried welding it in, it might look like it fuses in, it looks like it bonds okay, but there's no strength to it. So you have to have welding rods that are matched to bumpers, and what they do, it's not the same material as the bumper cover itself. It's a similar product. It'll melt in with it and it'll fuse to it and it'll give you a good weld. And even like a crack like on this bumper with that smoothing tip on that hot staple gun, You can go over here and melt it together. It'll look like it's working, but there's really no strength to it. So I'm gonna get the stapler out and we'll see how it works. Okay, I'm gonna put a few staples in this. Got a couple cracks right here. And I normally don't use a stapler on a bumper cover. If you watched the previous video, I repaired a pretty big crack in this same bumper. What I talked about was this crack has to be completely removed so it's filled both sides all the way through. If you put a staple in there, it's going to hold it together, but you still have that crack running through it that's going to show up eventually. So in that case, I put a staple in to hold it temporarily, then I removed it. If it's a part of a bumper that doesn't show, bracket, a tab, it's going to work just fine. One thing I noticed with this staple gun, the staples that come with it, they're pretty loose, and you tip the gun over and they fall out. Bend them a little bit to put some tension on there, and then they'll stay in. The instructions say to put these staples in going crossways like this. Some guys say to put them in this way. It really doesn't matter, because what you're going to do, you're going to put it in either way, and once it's pushed in about halfway, you're going to twist it. And that'll kind of lock it in. So either way, you're still running an angle. Whether you start this way or you start this way, it doesn't really make any difference. All right, I put a couple staples in and I realized my camera wasn't on. So let's do a few more. You don't need to push the trigger until you've got the staple up into place. Only takes a few seconds for it to heat up. Gonna push it in, gonna twist a little bit, let off the trigger. We'll hold it there until it cools. Do a few more. By twisting that staple, once it's heated up, it actually pushes it inside there. It's buried in there, so it can't pull back out. Let's see if we can kind of overlap these a little bit. And one at the top. The instructions say these things are supposed to just snap off. I don't know if they do or not. Doesn't really seem to, but you can come through, cut them off. You could take a grinder and grind them down a little bit smoother, but if it's something that doesn't show, those are going to be just fine. I'm going to try pulling on this, see if it comes apart. Yeah, I mean, it takes quite a bit. But they're actually fairly strong. So, yeah, they do work pretty good. I do like the staples in certain cases. Let's see how the inside corner works. I've got this bracket that's torn off here from the lower. Put a couple staples in here. Actually, it didn't work bad. There's not a lot of material to bury that thing into. If you're not careful, you push it right through. For as no more than this bracket holds, it just helps support this lower tab. I think that would actually work pretty good. Let's try that outside corner one. I don't know if I really have anywhere that it's going to work, but we'll see. Let's just try putting one right on here. Yeah, I think this type of staple be really limited where you're going to find a place for it, but you know, it may help you out in a pinch. It may work somewhere where nothing else is going to help you out. Let's do it right on here. And then we're going to twist it, let it cool a second or two. Yeah, I don't think this staple will get a whole lot of use, but you never know. Okay, now I'm going to work on this fan shroud. This is just thermoplastic. I can put my staples in, and I'm going to take the welding rod and I'll weld up the back side. Okay, I'm going to take this smoothing tip that just slides on at two ends, and I've got a piece of this black welding rod to come with the gun, and I'm just going to get it hot and start puddling this in. Now this gun doesn't get anywhere near as hot as one of the hot air welders, but it still seems to work, and for this type of plastic, It's probably good enough. All right, I trimmed the staples off the back side. The weld is cooled down and it looks like it's pretty strong. Okay, I've got this piece of wheel liner and I put this aluminum foil tape on the back side to hold it in place. This is good stuff to have. Keep a roll of this tape around with you. It's good for all kinds of stuff. I'm gonna use the same rod, get this tip heated up, and this stuff is super thin. You really can't put a staple in it, but we can melt it back together. Let's just try it without the rod. Actually, if I would have put the tape on the outside, done this on the inside, probably be a pretty invisible repair. You know, I can see this gun being real handy if you're putting a vehicle together and it's got to go, and you put the windshield washer bottle in or a coolant bottle and you notice there's a tab that's broke off of it and you still have the piece, you can fuse that back on and get the vehicle down the road. Okay, I pulled the tape off. It's actually not too bad. It's probably strong enough for something like this. It's gonna hold it together just fine. You know, for the 35 or 36 bucks that this cost, I think it's well worth it. Besides automotive use, you'll find stuff to do with it at home. So yeah, it works good. I don't know if there's any difference between these or the 15 other brands out there. They all do the same thing. So I hope you like this video. Thanks for watching.